Hey, Jeff, how are you?
You care?
No, but I do like you. You're a fun guy.
Hey, Dad. Love your show.
I do appreciate your show, and you really do make everybody think.
Hi, Jeff. I love your show as always.
Thank you.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey.
Oh, God. My head's about ready to explode. Where do you even start?
I don't know.
Hi. I've never called in your show before, but this topic has been something that I've been interested in for a long time.
Jeff Ward, afternoons on News Radio KLBJ.
Hey, welcome to our little show. The Occupocalypse has taken a turn. Some would say interesting turn. Others would say a dangerous turn. Some might even suggest it's been hijacked. In case you haven't been paying attention, over the weekend, nearly 40 protesters of Occupy Austin, I like to call it the Occupocalypse, were arrested this weekend. So the city of Austin... And, you know, there may be a legitimate argument about how the cops have handled this. I don't know. Maybe they've done well. Maybe they've not done so well. But the city of Austin has actually asked the occupiers to appoint leaders so the city could meet with them to talk about how this thing is going to play itself out. Apparently, some of the problems, and there have reportedly been many at the Occupocalypse, have really been around the fact that they were serving food. Well, they had a food table set out. And you would say, well, what's the big deal? If you'd like to protest, who cares? Well, apparently that food table is kind of a magnet. And the magnet could produce some problems. So among some of the things that have been reported about the Occupocalypse over the weekend, we go back to Sunday at 5:15 p.m. Here's a timeline of some of the arrests. 2 people were arrested for fighting and 2 for criminal trespass. No big deal, right? Okay. Well, if it's about the banking industry, are they fighting over, I don't know, the bailout of AIG? Is that what they're fighting about? Why are they fighting with each other? Hey, that's a cute little jingle, though. Try that one again. Say it as you drive around the rest of the day.
Occupiers must go free! Occupiers must go free! Occupiers must go free! Shame on APD! Occupiers must go free!
Ding, 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 ding. Hey, so look. If you're there together to protest, and you're protesting, still not quite sure what exactly, but that's okay. Why are you fighting? Why did you start beating each other up? I mean, if you're really about the banks and the bailouts and allegedly the incestuous relationship between industry and government, I thought you would agree on that.
This is what democracy looks like! We are what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! We are 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 what democracy looks like!
Okay, man. All right, you're right. But why are you fighting each other? Why are you fighting each other? Are you fighting each other about bank fees? I thought you were both upset about bank fees. So the city posted new rules for the Occupocalypse, including a ban on setting the food distribution table up overnight. I think those of you that have been in Central Austin very often, those of you that have ever been to an Austin Public Library, you know exactly who showed up. You know who was fighting. And I'm willing to bet they weren't fighting about the bailout of AIG. Now, this issue of appointing leaders to talk to city officials, look, maybe the city's doing the best they can. Don't know. It's a pretty tough situation either way. Well, Pointy Boots. You know what? Has Pointy Boots not hit the stage of full-on confusion? What's going on with him? Now, the latest, and I'm still going to I'm going to hang my hat on this, that I don't think he's done yet. But, man, every week it gets a little bit tougher to back up my prediction that he would be the Republican nominee, and he would be the Republican nominee going away. It's a tough game, man. Everything you say is analyzed. Every performance, because it's only, let's underline this again, it's only about performance art. And is his performance art not becoming really bizarre? Here is the latest from Pointy Boots, and it's gone viral. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing when it goes viral. And we have the full speech on our website. He's in New Hampshire. And I believe there have been over 150,000 views in less than a day of parts of this speech. Now, let me give you some of the claims by his team. The brand managers say he's just being passionate. Okay, fair enough. I don't know what else they're supposed to say. Have you noticed how they keep having to respond to his speeches? It's getting really weird. Is this passion, or is it something else? We've pulled bits and pieces of his speech in New Hampshire.
And this is such a cool state. I mean, come on, live free or die. I mean, you know, you got to love that, right? I come from a state, you know, where they had this little place called the Alamo, and they declared victory or death. You know, we're kind of into those slogans, man. It's like live free or die, victory or death, bring it. And you know, I love talking about freedom. As a matter of fact, that's...
Whoa. I mean, if you didn't know what he looked like, if I never said pointy boots, what is that laugh? And man, hey, man, is that... What's going on with him?
You know, everybody's got a little slogan, right? Mine's cut, balance, and grow. Get that. Yeah. Cut the size of this government and balance that budget and grow the economy. And it's pretty simple, actually. Or you can stay in the old system that's out there. And Senator, you know, the ones that want to stay in the old system, pay the lawyers, pay the accountants, all that money that's gone, or that.
What?
20% flat tax, put it on there, take your deductions off, send it in. Even Tim Geithner can get his taxes in on time with this, I'm telling you. He can. You think about it, you know, we spend $500 billion a year in tax preparation. I mean, you know, any accountants or tax lawyers out there, I'm sorry, dude, but that's too much money.
Wait, did he call the crowd dude? He said dude? You know, when this whole thing is said and done, and I guess my prediction is going to be wrong, we're going to make a montage of the last 2 years of Pointy Boots, because I'm telling you, this is interesting. He has gone from angry white guy, fist-pumping, Tea Party, camouflage hat, to severe accent, to subdued, to now he's absolutely giddy, and he's calling the crowd dude.
The good news is that little plan that I just shared with you doesn't force the Granite State to expand your tax footprint. You know what I mean? Like 9% expansion. I love Herman. Is he the best? I mean, I have fun with him. He is a great and interesting guy. And thank you, Herman, for helping pay for the event tonight.
God, you make me laugh so much. I love this radio station. I listen to it all day long.
Jeff Ward on News Radio KLBJ.
Shannon and you, I can't stand here in front of this crowd and not just, you know, love on you a little bit and thank you for what you do and for those of you that put this great evening together, all of you. And I'm with her. Write your checks. Gold is good. If you've got any in the backyard, because, you know, if they print any more money over there in Washington, the gold's going to be good.
Jeff Ward, afternoons on News Radio KLBJ.
Some of the headlines about the Rick Perry speech on Friday that is, look, Pointy Boots through the years has been able to adapt. I've said before he changes outfits and the accent changes, and this is a character we haven't seen before. This is kind of Jeff Spicoli-like. And I didn't anticipate this one, but it's full on. Here you go from the Texas Tribune. It says, a giddy Governor Rick Perry was fidgety and full of exuberance in this must-watch, speed-recorded speech in New Hampshire on Friday.
And my plan is really pretty simple. It does deductions for the mortgage, deduction for charitable. Yep. You can keep that in there. And your state and local taxes are in there. You can put those on, $12,500 for every dependent that you have. And, just pretty easy math. Subtract it, send it in. It's awesome. Why not?
Oh, my gosh. What? Business Insider called it the bizarre video of Rick Perry that everyone is talking about. Fox News linked to the YouTube sensation a compilation of the giddiest moments from the speech, saying it shows, quote, Perry uncorked in one of his wildest speeches yet. One of? What are you talking about? Which one is similar to this? Name another Rick Perry speech in which he called the audience dude.
On $12,500 for every dependent that you have, and just pretty easy math. Subtract it, send it in. It's awesome. Why not?
Wow, man, that's a trip, isn't it? All right, phone numbers 836-0590. That's 836-0590. Toll free 877-590-KLBJ. Can you listen online? More than likely, yes. Go to News Radio, KLBJ.com. Click on that icon and put your head down. By the way, he's trailing, according to a new University of Texas poll, he's trailing Herman Cain in the state of Texas. Yikes. Didn't see that one coming either. There is a way the show will be safe today. And, of course, some researchers have done the good work. It has nothing to do with Halloween. And, by the way, if you've dressed up for work today, you're a dork. It's work. You're a dork. But the researchers have studied, this time they've studied men for a change. Never happens. This time they've studied men. And the findings are shocking, to say the least. Linda, you're on KLBJ.
Well, now I can't wait to find out what the study is, but God, thank you for playing the Perry stuff. I turned it on. I thought it was Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, that's good.
When
right.
You said Spicoli, it was like, yes.
McConaughey.
He said awesome and dude and loving on you. And no, I'm one of those people that did not lead a perfect life and had friends that were not perfect. That's not normal.
Wait, but his campaign has already released a statement saying he was just being passionate.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they were going to say allergy meds or something. But
no, passion.
That was more than passion. That was more.
McConaughey, you're right. I mean, if we took 1,000 people and played that to them, I'm willing to bet very few would even guess Pointy Boots.
Under my plan, the death tax expires before you expire. Mr. Bill, that would be good. And you can wave goodbye to the capital gains tax.
Wow. It's like an episode of Sesame Street. Is he going to read a bedtime story too?
I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm. I tell people so far out in the country that everybody had their own tomcat. Some of you are not going to get that, but this little school I grew up in, mayor was called Paint Creek. And it was very small. As a matter of fact, the motto of the school was, no dream too tall for a school so small. Yeah. And by the way, I graduated in the top 10. Was that on my resume? I mean, I know Hilaire and Wazoric. Always have fun with your name, brother. And Wheeler have been up here. But again, I want to take a moment with all of you and to say thank you to these very courageous individuals one more time.
I mean, was he wearing flip-flops? What was he wearing that day? Like a Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops? I did not see the Jeff Spicoli routine coming.
Bottom line is this: if you want to stop Washington's many violations of the 10th Amendment, especially when it comes to the most basic principle of protecting life, then we must make President Obama a one-term president. We must.
Man, you get pulled over in Austin for sounding like that. Karen, you're on KLBJ.
Yes, hey, dude. I
Hey.
was just wondering if the governor's office would release the medical records of Governor Perry, because after that performance, and I did see that speech.
Yeah. Does it look more bizarre when you watch it, or does it sound more bizarre?
I think it was more bizarre when I watched it.
Yeah, because he did little things with his hands and
Yeah,
it was
really looked like somebody stoned.
Yeah.
And his other performances when he was on the debates, and he always lagged out in the last hour and a half of the debates, and he just kind of lost his train of thought. I would like the governor's office to release his medical records. I know he has back surgery, and I can appreciate anybody who's suffering that kind of pain.
Right.
He might be on prescription meds that is making him a little woohoo.
Why not?
What was great about this, if you watch it, and part of it you'll just fall asleep because there's these periods of just dead air, and then he just starts to blurt things out.
Good jobs. Good jobs for the American economy. Why do we allow ourselves to be held hostage by countries that hate us? When we have all of these energy resources, whether it is wind or solar or coal or nuclear or crude or natural gas, other alternative energy sources, why would we do that? Why would we jeopardize our children's future by creating a national debt that in the last 3 years it's been almost as much as been created in America since we were founded?
I remember back to Animal House.
My campaign is not about peeling.
In an Animal House, the
Washington establishment.
The pledges went over to the professor's house, and it was Donald Sutherland. And remember that speech when they're smoking weed that he was talking about something about the solar system? This is the night before. The next morning you see his butt cheeks for some reason. I don't know why. Why is that just coming to mind right now? The tone of this speech sounds a lot like Donald Sutherland as the professor in Animal House.
It is time to end the overregulation, end the excessive litigation, end the bureaucratic intimidation that's going on, and we need to get back to what we know works in America and get this country working again. We've got to cut the taxes and the spending. We've got to balance this federal budget. We've got to grow our economy.
All right, the phone numbers you'll need them, 836-0590. That's 836-0590. Toll free 877-590-KLBJ. Well, it's now a YouTube sensation, and that's probably not a good thing in politics. It's just not a good thing. I don't know if you can live it down. Maybe some people don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't know that the guy did anything sinister. It's just an act that you haven't seen nor heard any time during his political life, I guess, or at least modern political life since he's been doing it so long. And then his pointy boots in New Hampshire. And that thing is everywhere now.
We can unleash American ingenuity again for a new American century, restore the hopes and the dreams of our people, renew our great promise, and entrust the fate of this nation to the hands of the people, setting them free. And I'm for saying it loud and saying it proudly. We are the land of the free. Let's let America be America again and again be the land of the free. God bless you, and thank you all for coming and being with us tonight.
His office issued a statement saying he was being passionate with his remarks. End of statement.
Why not?
That was it. The good news is that there is a way to save the show and have some female participation today. Here you go. For once, somebody who's studied men. Now, normally these studies are all about women, their moods, their likes, dislikes. What other likes, by the way? What is it that maybe... Well, this group has studied among the sexes, which of the sexes is most likely to say, I love you. What a shock. Can't imagine why. But previous research indicated that women are more expressive about how they feel. And they tend to be the ones who fall in love first, according to researchers at Pennsylvania State University. But they have now found that men are 3 times more likely to be the first ones to say, I love you in a relationship. Aha. What does that tell you? This is going to be published any day now in the Journal of Social Psychology. It shows that men were more likely to fall in love within a few weeks, while most women said it took several months. Wait a minute. What are you waiting on? Why does it take several months? So men are 3 times more likely to be the first ones to say, I love you in a relationship. That's a shock. Can't imagine why. Men are also more inclined to tell their partner they love them much sooner in a relationship. How about that? Take it all back. Here's the professor saying men reported falling in love sooner, and 3 times as many men as women said, I love you, first to their partners. The researcher goes on to say perhaps women are perceived as less rational about love because they have greater capacity for processing emotional experiences.
I don't think that's appropriate, Jeff.
Is that why they're waiting? What are they waiting on? This is shocking. All right, 836-0590. That's 836-0590. Toll free is 877-590-KLBJ. The occupocalypse has taken a turn. The city of Austin is asked to speak to the occupiers and for the occupiers to appoint leaders. The problem apparently started when there was a citywide ban or a city ban on food tables.
Our City Hall! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose City Hall? Our City Hall! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose City Hall? Our City Hall!
Yeah. Was that about bank bailouts? Is that what that was about? Were they getting arrested and fighting over bank bailouts? Were they upset about interest rates?
I saw one of my fellow veterans, and I wanted to be in solidarity with them, so I went and stood by him in front of the protesters, in between the protesters and the police, to protect the protesters from the corrupt police that were just doing their job, following orders, which is not okay.
Wow. Lisa, you're on KLBJ.
Hey, Jeff. I
Hi.
listen to your show all the time. Hey, I know this is redundant and you hate that, but when that woman called in about sounding like McConaughey, that was the first thing that came to my mind. And then this will really date me. I thought about Dazed and Confused when he would say, all right. Now it's President McConaughey. I can't get it out of my head. It's over.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. This thing has gone viral, and it is weird. Certainly weird when you know him here in Texas. I don't know. Is this one of those things? Because he will become a joke. Now, a lot of you want to get upset and want to fight about it. Okay, fight about it. But he is now gone viral, and that can't be good. He's gone viral, and Saturday Night Live, he is chum in the water. And if you're driving down the road and your first thought is Dazed and Confused, that's probably not good for your political future. Yeah, he does have a little. It does sound a little McConaughey, doesn't it? And then those outbursts. What? What are those? What happened? He's in New Hampshire, by the way.
Are in there. You put those on 12,500 for every dependent that you have, and just pretty easy math. Subtract it, send it in. It's awesome. Why not?
What? About the point when he called the audience dude.
Everybody's got a little slogan, right? Mine's cut, balance, and grow.
No, that doesn't work. What? Cut, balance. Is that hyphenated? What was that? Oh, boy.
Or you can stay in the old system that's out there. And Senator, the ones that want to stay in the old system, pay the lawyers, pay the accountants, all that money that's gone, or that. 20% flat tax, put it on there, take your deductions off, send it in. Even Tim Geithner can get his taxes in on time with this, I'm telling you. He can.
Hey, Bill, you're on KLBJ.
Hello, Jeff.
Hi.
Hey, it didn't surprise me a bit when I heard that study that men say I love you first.
Well, it's because they are more emotional and more caring and more passionate.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No, the first thing that crossed my mind was that Meatloaf song, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Yeah. He said, I love you and I want you, but there's no way I'm ever going to say I love you. Thomas needs to have another sound effect that the opposite to the cha-ching for what the men are looking for out of the relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know what that sound effect would be, but I'll leave it to the pros for that one.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. No, I disagree completely. I think just all along people have it wrong, and men. No one's going to be skeptical enough that women are waiting because it's money. No one's going to be that skeptical, so certainly you shouldn't be as skeptical and say that men are only saying this to have sex.
Why not?
Also says they're more inclined to tell their partner they love them much sooner in the relationship.
Damn right!
Like in the first half hour. Hey, Ken, you're on KLBJ.
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
I want to go back in history a little bit regarding the incident with the coyote.
Yes.
When he was running. Two things. First of all, I met a gentleman who lives in that neighborhood, and he said that when...
Has he been attacked by a lion also? Apparently that area is it's almost like a zoo. There's so many wild animals over there.
Yeah, I know it. But this fellow that lives over there said that when he has seen the governor jogging through the neighborhood, that he has an armed guard on a bicycle next to him, and he has a black Suburban behind him. So the question is, why did he have a gun? That's first. The second question, if he had a gun, where was it? I mean, you're an athlete. You go out, you run, you bike. I used to be a runner. My goal when I ran was to have as little weight on my body as possible.
Yes.
So where was he packing a gun? I don't think he shot the coyote. I think it was all made up.
Well, you haven't met the new and improved Jeff Spicoli, Rick Perry, then. Because he's not about guns anymore, man. It's not about shooting anybody, dude, bro, cuz. It's a different Spicoli / Perry / McConaughey. This Rick Perry would not have shot anything.
The good news is that little plan that I just shared with you doesn't force the Granite State to expand your tax footprint. You know what I mean? Like 9% expansion. I love Herman. Is he the best? I mean, I have fun with him. He is a great and interesting guy. And thank you, Herman, for helping pay for the event tonight.
See, this Rick Perry would not shoot the coyote. He would lie down. They would lick his face. And he would just kind of sway back and forth. He'd giggle a little bit. And he'd pick some flowers. I think this Rick Perry.
I grew up on a farm.
What? This Rick Perry's going to go to Liberty Lunch. This guy's not shooting any animals around the neighborhood in Barton Creek.
I grew up on a farm.
I grew up on a farm.
Come on, man. Look, dude. Grew up on a farm. What about that part when he says the town is Paint Creek, but he said the mayor is Paint Creek? We had a mayor. What did he say? Named Paint Creek, or the mayor is Paint Creek?
Mayor was called Paint Creek.
Ah, yeah. The mayor is called Paint Creek.
and it was very small. As a matter of fact, the motto of the school was, no dream too tall for a school so small.
Hey, Jeff, you're smoking hot today, guy.
Jeff Ward, afternoons on News Radio KLBJ.
If you're looking for a slick politician or a guy with great teleprompter skills, we already have that, and he's destroying our economy. I'm a doer, not a talker. In Texas, we created 40% of the new jobs in the entire country since June of 2009. And we cut a record $15 billion from our state budget. Now, they say we can't do that in Washington. Well, they're wrong, and they need to go. I'm Rick Perry, and I approve of this message.
All right, so there's a 60 or 30 or 60 second, I'm not sure which one, 30-second commercial released, strangely enough, released today by the brand managers for Pointy Boots. Compare that 30 seconds and the sound of that versus the speech given on Friday, which has now gone viral, of Rick Perry.
If you're looking for a slick politician or a guy with great teleprompter skills, we already have that, and he's destroying our economy. I'm a doer, not a talker.
That's true. You got that right. That was released today.
And it was very small. As a matter of fact, the motto of the school was, no dream too tall for a school so small.
Yeah, can't imagine why that went viral.
Those are in there. You can put those on, $12,500 for every dependent that you have, and, just pretty easy math. Subtract it, send it in. It's awesome.
Why not?
We can only hope in the talk show business that Rick Perry, the Spicoli, that Rick Perry shows up the next debate. I think he might throw everybody off.
I'm with her. Write your checks. Gold is good. If you've got any in the backyard, because, if they print any more money over there in Washington, the gold's going to be good.
And she will take it.
And on top of that, he made a few Aggie references, Aggie jokes. You're in New Hampshire, man. Now, if that Rick Perry, the Spicoli Rick Perry, did the debate, he would just have them hug the next debate. They wouldn't be fighting. He would say, come here, let me give you a hug. Sit down. All right, phone number is 836-0590. That's 836-0590. Toll free is 877-590-KLBJ. By the way, an interesting weekend of football. How about your Dallas Cowboys? How was that for a performance? Good job. That's a way to show up big on national TV. On top of that, how about your Texas Aggies? Their possible running mate in the SEC, that middle-of-the-pack football program. Your Texas Aggies have now successfully blown double-digit leads in 3 different games this year. Can't say the wheels are off, but they're really close. Really close. Because next up for you, coming off a loss against Missouri, guess what's going to happen to your secondary next week? You are going to be torched. There won't be any double-digit lead to blow next time because you won't even be in the park by the time halftime rolls around. That is pathetic. That's supposed to be a good football team. And as many of you are now learning, when you suck on defense, it's almost impossible to win on a regular basis. It's hard to be really good. You can be mediocre, and it can look pretty nice sometimes, but you can't be really good. And they're not really good just because of their defense. All right, Clark, you're on KLBJ.
Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Clark.
I'm just curious, if Rick Perry becomes president of the United States, that's good for just about everybody in Texas, right? I mean, broad brush, that's pretty much good for Texas.
Why is that?
Well, a president from Texas is generally good for Texas, as a general rule. Would you agree with that?
And how are you measuring that?
Let's base it off of past economic growth in Texas when a Texas president is in office.
Well, I'm not sure how many you're going to count up, but if you just use the last one as an example, although he originally was from the Northeast and went to Ivy League schools and stuff like that, but if you use George W. Bush as the last example, no, the economy's worse here than it's been in a long time.
Well, the entire nation took it on the chin, but Texas as a whole was better across the board than most states during that period.
Okay.
Why go for the low fruit picking on Perry?
What?
Why not go after all these other people that are up there as well, instead of just spending time on pointy boots because it's easy? Why not go after some of these other folks too?
Well, if you'd like to give me an example, and if you'd like them to offer up a giant run-on bizarre speech, I'll do that too. But maybe, Clark, you realize something. He is the governor of Texas, so that makes it a little bit more noteworthy for a talk show in Austin.
I'm tracking.
Well, no, you're not.
Just seems like there could be, there's a lot of Rick Perry slamming going on. And, yeah, he does some funny stuff, but probably every other person on the planet does, too, in the course of their daily life.
I'm sure they do. They're not running for the presidency either in their daily life.
Clear. I understand.
No, you don't.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay, so what would you like me to do?
Well, I understand the whole guy on a bar stool thing. Get that. It's great.
Good.
But I think that there are other targets out there that are worthy of time spent as opposed to just hitting our guy.
Give me an example.
I couldn't give you a perfect example right this second. It's just...
Why did you offer that up suggestion then?
Well...
See, because if it's not... Well...
Just seems like you're hitting one guy, and it's like there's a lot of other targets that you could spend a little time on.
Well, yeah, but see, usually when you do a show, you try to talk about things that are most relevant to the audience here. Right? It'd be a little bit like the people at the Occupocalypse getting arrested. Do you think that's worthy? That's here in Austin. Would that be low-hanging fruit, too, or would that be fruit that's untouchable?
This is such a cool state. I mean, come on. Live free or die.
The guy has gone viral. I would think he'd be pretty much a fool not to have that on a talk show in Austin, Texas today. It'd be a big mistake. What do you think guys are looking for?
What do I think guys are looking for?
Yes.
Sex.
Okay. Very good answer.
Guaranteed to be more enjoyable than a pat down by the TSA. Jeff Ward. Each afternoon on News Radio KLBJ.
Hi, this is Josh Hamilton of the Texas Rangers, and you're listening to Jeff Ward on KLBJ.
Well, thank you, Josh Hamilton of the Texas Rangers. Makes me kind of sad even to hear it. What could have been? So, your Dallas Cowboys in full-on meltdown. Can't blame that one on Tony Romo. I know as many people will try. Can't blame that on Tony Romo. Then your Aggies, once again, in full-on meltdown mode. And then I'm forgetting about your Texas Tech Red Raiders, which people called last week to remind me how good they really are. Yeah, they're at home against Iowa State.
Barbaric.
They were blasted at home by Iowa State.
Jeff is brought to you by Austin Cancer Centers and Georgetown Cancer Center, the most advanced treatments right here in Central Texas.
Why not?
Hey, welcome to hour number 2 of our little show, I think. Well, let me ask you something. With that as a lead-in to this hour of the show, you may have just heard the news report that honestly threw everybody off for good reason. But try to put yourself in position. First of all, who's answering the phone during the daytime? Who are you? Who are you? Go to work. But are you more likely to vote for something, whatever it is, whatever you believe in? But would you be more likely to vote for something if you got one of these calls?
This is Count Dracula calling to instruct you to vote this week for Travis County Propositions 1 and 2.
Who came up with that idea? Seriously, you need to come forward and start talking. Who came up with that idea? Does anybody think it's a good idea? And when you pick up the phone, whoever you are that answers the phone in the middle of the day, when you pick up the phone and you get that?
Everyone counts in Travis County, so do as I tell you and join me, Count Dracula, in voting for Propositions 1 and 2.
If I were in favor of Propositions 1 and 2, I would now vote against just because of that. What are you doing?
Don't let Travis County turn into Transylvania. Our traffic sucks. Get it? Sucks? It's a vampire joke.
All right. Thomas, find out who came up with that. Their name needs to be out. They need to be talking to us because you're going to be mocked. You better hide. You better make sure that this show does not find out your name. You better hope that this show does not find out your name and how much that cost. If anything, maybe it was free. Maybe you got some schmo there at the office to do it. But you're an idiot. Can anyone else agree? I'm sure I'm going to find somebody say, no, Jeff, that's really cute. It's a great idea. It's a vote on two different propositions. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I know someone's going to say, well, are we really that stupid? Yes, we're pretty stupid. I mean, by and large, the intellect is not too impressive. But come on, man. You're going to answer the phone. You're on your couch in the middle of the day watching some Judge Judy show, and you hear that? Who? Do you even listen to the rest of the call? Like something a 12-year-old would do. I'm embarrassed for all of us right now. In particular, whoever you are that came up with that idea. You need to look out. If so, you better get away from the radio because once we find out your name, it's not going to feel good. The Occupocalypse has taken a turn. You may have heard 44 arrests over the weekend. They were fighting with each other. If it's all about solidarity, it's all about bank fees or bank bailouts or all these financial issues. That's what it's about, right? Why are you fighting each other? I mean, if you have different areas of protest, and certainly there's a great deal of respect for that, but why are you fighting with each other? Who is the Occupocalypse after all? Because for some reason, the fighting seems to coincide with food being offered. Anybody pick up on that? And the man of the moment. He is your governor. By the way, he is currently the governor of Texas, and I used to say, he may get me on both of these. I predicted he would be the Republican nominee. I started predicting that about 2 years ago. I thought he would win easily. And I think one of the reasons I gave was that his campaign would be so well managed. I also said that he is governor and will always be governor, and you will never elect anyone else. My first prediction isn't feeling too good right now, and I'm kind of starting to wonder about the second one.
You know, everybody's got a little slogan, right? Mine's cut, balance, and grow. Get that. Yeah. Cut the size of this government and balance that budget and grow the economy. And it's pretty simple, actually.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird, and it's gone viral. In fact, almost any website, news-related website you go to, it is one of the most viewed stories. The video itself of his speech in New Hampshire, of all places, population 45,000, had 150,000 views in the first day. And I would bet once people get to work today and not work, it's going to be more than that now. At best, it was bizarre. And that is a Rick Perry character we haven't seen before. He has changed looks many times. The accent comes and goes, but we've never had this dazed and confused type performance. At one point, he called the audience dude.
Mayor was called Paint Creek.
Oh, yeah. The mayor was called Paint Creek. That's his hometown. All right, the phone numbers, you'll need them, 836-0590. That's 836-0590. The always popular toll-free line is 877-590-KLBJ. Can you listen online? More than likely, yes. Go to News Radio, KLBJ.com, click on that icon, and put your head down.
Our traffic sucks. Get it? Sucks? It's an empire joke.
Belly up to the bar and let's talk. Jeff Ward, afternoons on News Radio KLBJ. Jeff Ward, afternoons on News Radio KLBJ.
The researchers have done a breakthrough science. This time they've actually studied men. Apparently men have the feelings. The researchers claim, this is at Penn State University, the researchers claim that men are more likely to fall in love within the first few weeks, while women say it takes several months. On top of that, men are more inclined to tell their partner they loved them much sooner in the relationship. How about that? See? It is about love. It's all about love. It's only about love with the guys. It is Dave. You're on KLBJ.
I'm so glad you took my call. He will not be elected the nominee because he's talking. He won't be reelected governor because it's the first time Texans have heard him talk, and he needs to put a cork in it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd like to be able to argue, but I don't think that I can.
Now, let me give you a really, really strange perspective here. If he becomes the nominee, I vote for Barack Obama. If any other Republican becomes the nominee, I vote for them.
Yeah.
How many of me are out there?
Apparently a lot now.
Yeah. So he's really, I mean, it's that far.
Well, what can he do? You know, I think it's weird because every week now I end up saying the same thing. Okay. The guy's kind of lost it here. What can he do to make up for it? So here we are at a very bizarre stage. I mean, this little whatever was going on with him is off the charts. So what could he do in the next couple days? Because they've released an ad already today. I mean, they timed this probably the best they could of him very, very coherent, very well spoken, very clear. So what could he do now?
Well, the problem is he was going into it behind a boulder of George Bush cowboy from Texas.
Right.
So that is the negative that he had to overcome to begin with without any missteps. Now the missteps are just, here's another cowboy from Texas. We're out. Everyone's out. And I'm surprised the establishment hadn't called him to tell him he's out.
Would you tell him to bail right now?
Absolutely. It's
but
the
how
only
does
chance
he
he's got to stay governor?
Yeah. Well, see, that's my question is if he bailed now, what you say the reason for bailing could really have an impact on this guy. Obviously likes to be in politics. He's done it his whole life. I'm assuming he wants to keep doing it. So he wants to keep his job as governor. How can he keep that now?
Today you spin it as it was taking all my time and energy away from my beloved state. I had to come back to you all.
Yeah, but doesn't he have to answer for this this incoherent speech he just gave?
Not if he's in Texas, because he was incoherent for the last 24 years and we voted for him.
Well, come on, wait a second. He's never sounded like this. That's not true. Not at all. Now, he may not have said much, but he did say a few things, and he never called the audience dude. He never went off on this giggling tangent. No. He didn't do. No. There's never been a pointy boots like this. I'm not sure there's been many candidates like this. I mean, when somebody calls the show and says the first thing that comes to mind is McConaughey and Dazed and Confused, that's probably not the image you want to sell.
Good jobs. good jobs for the American economy. Why do we allow ourselves to be held hostage by countries that hate us? When we have all of these energy resources, whether it is
the crowd laughing?
Wind or solar or coal or nuclear or crude or natural gas, other alternative energy sources, why would we do that?
Oh, my.
Why would we jeopardize our children's future?
Were they laughing at one point? I don't know if they knew when to laugh and when not to laugh. I don't know if these people knew what was going on. Hey, Kevin, you're on KLBJ.
What's up, dude?
Hey, bro. Cuz. Holmes.
Rick Perry must have borrowed Willie Nelson's bus for a little run around town or something. But my real worry is that does the Pointy Boot staff, is there like a trigger point when somebody slips him a Mickey, they go, all power and authority goes to Dewhurst?
Wow.
Now. I mean,
wow. You mean
what do we do?
What you mean on Friday night at one point David Dewhurst should have been the governor of Texas?
Well, he's probably looking at it going, here's my chance.
Yeah.
Well, I worried. We wanted to know where the Willie bus sighting was, and I think it might have been in Perry had it running around town for a little bit.
Under my plan, the death tax expires before you expire.
The bill that would...
How about those outbursts? He would go into that whisper, and you have to watch it on our website. He's got these weird mannerisms all of a sudden. I feel like, it really is kind of a trip.
Are in there. You put those on, 12,500 for every dependent that you have, and just pretty easy math. Subtract it, send it in. It's awesome.
Why not?
Hey, Jimmy, you're on KLBJ.
Hey, how you doing there, my friend?
Do you care, Jimmy?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
But hey, I just wanted to come in and tell you that after hearing Rick's diatribe this morning on the internet, it kind of reminded me of Mr. Blagojevich out of Illinois. He just about that crazy. And I got to thinking there, there is a grand jury indictment waiting for Rick Perry sometime in the near future. Just got to be. There's just really got to be.
Now, why?
Well, because if you're the nuttiest Blanco, then you've obviously done something in office that's probably not on the up and up, and I would say that it's going to be exposed sometime. That's just my prediction. It's not anything relying on his facts.
Well, now wait a second. Now you're
judging my history.
Wait, because he had a bizarre performance, you're saying he must be? Are you saying he's guilty of something with drugs or?
No, I'm just saying that he's subject to you judging my history. People like that, they get flamboyant in their office, they get nonchalant, not apathetic, and let things happen. And sure enough, they do something wrong, and all of a sudden there's a criminal charge awaiting them. And that's just all I'm saying, just based on history.
All right. This doesn't fit too well with my prediction of how calculated he would be. By the way, his campaign has released a statement, and there's nothing more to it than this. He was being passionate with his remarks, period. Wayne, you're on KLBJ.
I think the governor of Texas should just basically get out of the race and go into comedy because he is as funny as can be.
I'm with her. Write your checks. Gold is good. If you've got any in the backyard, because, if they print any more money over there in Washington, the gold's going to be good.
And she will take it.
I don't think these are the reactions his team really wanted. If you just take a few of the calls today here in Texas, I'm pretty certain for a guy that's been pretty much under the radar most of his governor's life, I'm thinking this is not what they wanted to hear.
And this is such a cool state. Come on, live free or die. You got to love that, right?
lose. We're practicing our free speech.
We're practicing our free speech.
And right to peaceably assemble.
And right to peaceably assemble.
Last night I learned something. Your rights are not guaranteed.
Your rights are not guaranteed.
You have to fight for them.
You have to fight for them.
That's the Occupocalypse right here in Austin, led by, I don't know, their leader, I guess. Right on with that stuff about your right to protest. What are you doing again?
We are what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Okay, got it. All for it. What exactly are you doing? The city wants to talk to the leaders. Don't know what that means because the city put in a policy that led to a bunch of arrests. Maybe the cops handled it badly. Don't know. But when you start serving food in downtown Austin, I think most people that have lived here for any length of time know exactly what's going to happen. And if there were fights, were those fights between the Occupocalypse members fighting over what? Bailouts? Bank fees?
Shame on APD! Occupiers must go free!
So, convince some of us again this is a financial protest? Really? What are you fighting for? More seats on a board somewhere? That's why you're fighting with each other? 2 were arrested for criminal trespass and fighting at 5:15 p.m. on Sunday.
I saw one of my fellow veterans, and I wanted to be in solidarity with them, so I went and stood by him in front of the protesters, in between the protesters and the police, to protect the protesters from the corrupt police that were just doing their job, following orders, which is not okay.
Okay. Got that part. What are you doing again? Manchester, New Hampshire, over the weekend, Rick Perry, Pointy Boots, has gone viral. The speech lasted approximately 23 minutes. We have it on our website. Some of it's kind of nondescript. The other parts of it they're a trip. It's a trip. And there were 150,000 views in less than a day. Now, that's probably tripled by now, if not more, because it's on every news website. And I dare say we've probably been driving up page views ourselves.
I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm. I tell people so far out in the country that everybody had their own tomcat. Some of you are not going to get that. But
Well, all right, I'll bring it up because I'm the one who made the prediction he would be the nominee, and I believe I predicted he'd be the nominee easily. Remember Howard Dean? He was toast because of one moment. One bad performance publicly, because it is only about performance art. What will do you in is not what Herman Cain is fighting with right now. That's not going to do him in. I'll bet you anything. I'll bet you that a bizarre public performance does more harm than what Herman Cain is fighting off right now.
We're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
Mayor was called Paint Creek.
Howard Dean was done. Done. Goodbye. Finished. Thank you. I don't know. Has Pointy Boots done the same? It's certainly a different performance. One is psychotic and angry. The other is, I don't know what it was. Trippy? What do you say when you get high? What's the modern day terminology when you're high?
Mayor was called Paint Creek. And it was very small. As a matter of fact, the motto of the school was, no dream too tall for a school so small.
Whoa. Some of you can play that late at night tonight. Hey, Wes, you're on KLBJ.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi.
Hey, my opinion is that Rick Perry, his strong suit is quick one-liners, and he's good at attacking people and not really good at selling stuff. And you couple that with the fact that
he's had back problems and he's probably on pain medication.
Right.
It sounds like he's not got that pain medication dialed in very good. So that's
I was thinking about that. If that's true, because they kind of used that as an excuse a few weeks ago, could he come out tomorrow? Because they didn't do it. They came out and said he's being passionate. So they did just the opposite of what you're suggesting. But if he came out tomorrow and said, "Look, man, I've had back problems. A lot of you can relate. And I've tinkered with this pain medication. Some days I stay away from it. Some days I take it. But if it made me sound loopy, I apologize." Would that work?
I think it would.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to hope they dial it in and his performances get better and people forget about this. And that ad that you played, that's his strong suit. That's where he's good.
Right, where he does just 30 and 60 second. It's all scripted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
If you're looking for a slick politician or a guy with great teleprompter skills, we already have that.
Okay.
The mayor was called Paint Creek.
Why not?
That's the part that kept throwing me off early this morning. That is these outbursts, just out of the blue, where you just scream.
Are in there. You put those on, 12,500 for every dependent that you have, and just pretty easy math. Subtract it, send it in. It's awesome.
Why not?
Oh, hey buddy, you're on KLBJ.
Hi Jeff, I hope you're doing well, and I really care.
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Well, I want to reprise an earlier call you had where the guy kind of took you to task because you weren't treating Perry with the right kind of, how should we put it, weren't showing him in a favorable view. But what I want to talk about is the guy said, he's our guy. He's not my guy.
Right.
I've got 2 degrees from Texas A&M. I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm a native Texan. This guy's not my guy. I mean, I think the only group this guy must be one of those people that they're designing that $300,000 job for at the Texas Department of Transportation. I think those people, I think Perry is their guy. But for the average Texan, the average Austin, or the average Texan, I don't think he's our guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any way to come back from this. This other guy called a few moments ago and said, well, he's on pain medication. Well, the president has to be ready.
Exactly.
He can't be on any kind of
exactly.
medication.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
He's not ready.
Yeah.
John F. Kennedy had a bad back, but he never talked like this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just bad all the way over.
Yeah, this one's. You're right. No, that's a good point. You really can't spin your way out and say, "Oh, it was the meds," because someone's going to turn that around and make it even worse for you. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I'm like the other guy that called, and I want to vote for a Republican. But if Perry should get to be the nomination someday, I'd vote for Obama again.
Buddy, do you think he's going to get the nomination now?
I love Herman. Is he the best? I mean, I have fun with him. He is a great and interesting guy. And thank you, Herman, for helping pay for the event tonight.
Just a friendly reminder, listen or be tased. Jeff Ward, 3 to 7 on News Radio KLBJ.
And I'm for saying it loud and saying it proudly. We are the land of the free. Let's let America be America again and again be the land of the free. God bless you, and thank you all for coming and being with us tonight. Why not?
Probably really kicking themselves and the brand management office of Pointy Boots because Herman Cain is dealing with it today about a sexual harassment settlement years ago. And I guess he's handling it the right way.
What is the truth about these allegations of sexual harassment or sexual misconduct? Have you ever been accused at any time of either?
Yes. I have never sexually harassed anyone. Let's say that. Secondly, I've never sexually harassed anyone. And yes, I was falsely accused while I was at the National Restaurant Association, and I say falsely because it turned out after the investigation to be baseless.
It's the best you can do there. Assuming he's telling the truth, that's the best you can do. Now, the part that he's going to have to keep answering to, at least for a couple of days, is the issue of why they were paid. Now, he says...
The people mentioned in that article were the ones who would be aware of any misdoings, and they have attested to my integrity and my character. It is totally baseless and totally false. Never have I committed any sort of sexual harassment.
The next question would be, did you have knowledge of the payout? And I think his answer today has been, I didn't know.
Have you ever had to settle a claim, falsely accused or not? Sometimes a settlement happens when a false accusation is made. Have you ever given money or paid someone because of a claim of sexual harassment or sexual misconduct?
At the Restaurant Association, now outside of the Restaurant Association, absolutely not. If the Restaurant Association did a settlement, I wasn't even aware of it, and I hope it wasn't for much, because nothing happened. So if there was a settlement, it was handled by some of the other officers that worked for me at the association. So the answer is absolutely not.
Okay. Take that however you want. Life in politics must suck, but why did Donald Trump then weigh in and start commenting on this? This was on MSNBC. So they go from Herman Cain to, of course, Donald Trump.
You become a leading candidate, you become just a person of prominence, and somebody sues you, and they say all sorts of things, and perhaps he settled just because he didn't want to go through the legal fees, so they settle it on the basis that it's a lot cheaper and quicker and no publicity, no nothing, and they settle it, and then it ends up blowing up in his face.
Well,
I think it's very, very unfair. Yeah. He probably should have come forward and say, I was falsely accused of something, I settled in order to save legal fees, and that's probably what he should do.
Well, he has done that. Is Trump saying, by the way, why is someone asking Donald Trump? But is Trump saying that Herman Cain from the outset should have come forward and say, hey, listen, if this ever comes up, I don't know when, I don't know the right call there. When do you bring that up? Do you just wait and say, somebody in your camp, this is not a stupid guy. He's probably not surrounded by stupid people. So they knew sooner or later the bigger deal that he became, the more likely it would be that this came up. That was the position that, hey, when it comes up, answer it, that's it. Or do you answer it from the very beginning? Remember, the guy went from 5 percentage points to 35. So, and then there's this whole other issue about how and why it came up. I thought if you settled with someone, or if the Restaurant Association settled with someone, the part of the settlement was that you keep your mouth shut, right? So now he couldn't come out and today, it's not going to play very well if he said, well, wait a minute, they broke the deal. He can't do that. So I don't know that you could handle it much better than what he's done. The one thing that's going to be tough to do for him, assuming he's telling the truth, and I'm just going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt here, it'd probably be easy to get really mad right now. But again, since what matters to the American public is how you perform and how they think you feel, then he better watch that. And that is just keep giving the same answer. What, 12 times yesterday wasn't enough for you? Well, I'll say it again for you just so you know and just so you're clear. Oh, you want me to say it again? I will say it again. And just keep repeating the exact same thing and do the best you can not to get mad or bitter.
And so since it's an opportunity for me to share a little bit of my faith, I will. Amazing grace.
Oh, boy.
Will always be my song of praise. For it was grace that brought me liberty.
I didn't see that one coming.
I'll never know.
He's good, though.
Why Jesus came.
It's not been a weird day.
To love me so.
Jeff Ward, afternoons on News Radio KLBJ.
I couldn't if I tried. Eating only tacos or Kentucky Fried.
All right, on Sunday, the Occupocalypse turned somewhat ugly. 38 Occupy Austin protesters were arrested at City Hall on Sunday. The dispute started, I know what you're thinking, well, it started over bank fees. It started over bank bailouts. It started over, I don't know, price-to-earnings ratios. It started about mortgage default swaps. That stuff, right? That's what you're thinking because it is an economic protest, isn't it? No. The report is that it started over food tables.
Occupiers must go free! Occupiers must go free! Shame on Occupiers must go free! Shame on APD! Occupiers must go free! Shame on APD! Occupiers must go free!
30 men and 8 women were arrested Sunday on criminal trespass charges. Was it about the banking monopolies? Was that what it's about? It's about banking market share and shrinking credit unions. Was that what it was about? No, it was about food on food tables.
We are what democracy looks like!
BJ.
Hey, welcome to our little show. It had to be weird today. It just had to be. So if it's not Pointy Boots doing some sort of dazed and confused impression during a speech on Friday in New Hampshire, it is the county, you may have just heard the news report, the county having Count Dracula call you and tell you what a great idea the two propositions are. Either way, however you feel about it, not many people will vote, but I'm not sure. When it comes to voting, is something like this going to get you to vote either way, just to get out to vote?
Everyone counts in Travis County, so do as I tell you and join me, Count Dracula, in voting for Propositions 1 and 2.
Really? Who answered the phone and who stayed on? That's what I would like to know. Who is it that would answer the phone? I assume these calls, I don't know what time these calls are made, but if they're made during the daytime, who are you? And more importantly, if somebody started a call like that, what would you do? I mean, I don't think anybody, in particular men under the age of 45, would last in that call longer than 4 seconds.
Count Dracula calling to instruct you to vote this week for Travis County Propositions 1 and 2.
Wow, that's great. Did it cost anything? I don't know if we know that. Does it matter? It should. But that's just stupid.
Our traffic sucks. Get it? Sucks? It's a vampire joke.
Wow, that's hilarious. Count, thanks for calling. Thanks for the call, Count. We look forward to voting. The Perry camp has issued a statement. Well, they've done two things to fight back to the viral superstardom now of Pointy Boots. He's a web hit now. It's not a place you want to be, but he's a star. It has gone viral, and it is going to be a big joke, and Saturday Night Live, if he sticks around, is going to have a field day. The camp has released a statement saying he was being passionate with his remarks. That's it. Anybody that questioned his state of mind, their answer is he was being passionate with his remarks. It's a different kind of Rick Perry. It's something you've never heard before, and it's weird. We have do we have all 23 minutes on our website, or the edited version of like 9 minutes or something like that? I think the total thing is about 8.5 minutes now, and it's just nuts.
I mean, I know Hilaire and Wazoric. Always have fun with your name, brother.
There's a part in here when he calls the crowd dude. They start clapping, and he says, dude.
Shannon and you, I can't stand here in front of this crowd and not just, love on you a little bit and thank you for what you do and for those of you that put this great evening together, all of you. And I'm with her. Write your checks. Gold is good. If you've got any in the backyard, because, if they print any more money over there in Washington, the gold's going to be good. And she will take it. She will take it.
You think somebody told him to do that? I mean, I'm going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Do you think that somebody said, you've got to be more animated, you've got to be kind of wacky, crack some jokes, poke fun at yourself? Man, it's hard to believe somebody encouraged him to be that bizarre. But I wonder if they said, look, last time you sounded kind of angry, so be happy. Just be kind of peppy and satisfied with everything.
The good news is that little plan that I just shared with you doesn't force the Granite State to expand your tax footprint. If you know what I mean. Like 9% expansion. I love Herman. Is he the best? I mean, I have fun with him. He is a great and interesting guy. And thank you, Herman, for helping pay for the event tonight.
That is so bizarre. All right, the phone numbers, you will need them. 836-0590. That's 836-0590. Toll free is 877-590-KLBJ. Can you listen online? More than likely, yes. Go to newsradio KLBJ.com. Click on that icon and put your head down.
Why not?
Hey, it is Martin. You're on KLBJ.
Hey, I got a problem with a governmental agency spending my money to convince me to vote for something. That makes sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. I don't know in this case with the stupid, well, maybe you think it's a creative idea. I think it's pretty stupid, the Dracula thing. I don't know that we know that they spent money, but let me reframe this one.
It's a phone bank. You guys, it cost us money. So.
Well, I'm going to assume that it did, but either way, which is bad. I agree with you. It's despicable. Should the government be able to advertise to you for anything?
Good question.
Because I would assume the county has access to a database that if you were opposed to this, you probably couldn't get access to. So they have built-in advantages, I'm going to assume, to market for their own good.
Definitely. And they're probably playing to the, what's the term, lowest common denominator by doing something like this, with this Dracula type of argument.
Would you stay on the line if you heard that?
Yeah, because it would really pique my curiosity. Although I've already been reading on it. I'm going to vote against it. But
right.
I think it's unique. It's certainly unique. It catches your attention. But if you know the issues, then you don't need that. But it was just kind of quirky. I don't know. Welcome to Austin.
Yeah.
Everyone counts in Travis County.
That's not the thing about this is it wasn't just get out and vote. It wasn't, hey, make sure to remind you, or whatever Count Dracula is going to do. I don't know what it's going to be next week, but it was make sure to vote in favor of.
Hello, voter. This is Count Dracula calling to instruct you to vote this week for Travis County Propositions 1 and 2.
Can you opt out of those calls? Can you opt out of the calls? If not, there's a built-in advantage that the government has. It is Sarah. You're on KLBJ.
Well, in America, those of us in Texas are well aware of the Gardasil scam, the Transcorder scam, the insurance scam, stuff like that.
Sarah, hang on.
Shut up.
Sarah, stop. Hang on. What's going on?
But what bothers me the most is about the mansion, the governor's mansion. I mean, I'm a native Austinite, You know, I've been here all my life.
Shut up!
And,
Shut up!
I had never
Shut
heard
up!
of somebody
I don't give a rat's
putting
ass.
in renovation plans on a historical landmark.
I don't give a rat's ass.
They moved their antiques out, and miraculously
Barbaric.
enough, a week
Barbaric.
later, the mansion was burned.
Barbaric.
There was nobody, no security on site.
Hear me.
I mean, that's insane to me,
Barbaric.
and it reeks of just you know, horrid, just things that he doesn't have the right to do. You know, that government has been there way long before
We are what democracy looks like.
Since he torched it,
I don't give a rat's ass.
it because he was angry, and now we're paying $10,000 a month for his rent. You know, so it's just I call him the kickback governor. That's what he's always been to me. Frankly, I think since Ann Richards left, you know, Bush started scrapping the programs, and Perry has just, I mean, we have the highest pregnancy.
No, we don't.
We are what democracy looks like.
Did I miss something in the last, I don't know how long she's been talking. You know, did I miss something like, you're on KLBJ? Wow. How long has that been going on? And there was no wavering there. It didn't matter what we threw at her. Shut up! Yeah! She even had Barbaric and it didn't throw her off. That's impressive. Keep going, Sarah. Good work. Adam, you're on KLBJ.
Hey, Jeff. What's up? Great show. Just real quick, I think I have a little theory on Perry's little video. I've just watched it a couple times, the highlights. Looks to me like it's a combination of travel fatigue, slightly to heavy whiskey consumption, possibly painkiller or some sort of barbiturate to fight off physiological and psychological pains. But yeah, I think it's pretty much simple as that. Maybe a little bit of the Occupy Wall Street smoke drifted up. But I think I don't know, that's just my opinion, man. Great show on the hot sauce.
Hello, Frank. You're on KLBJ. Frank.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Didn't hear the name. Hey, I don't know if I can top Sarah, but I'll try.
She's still talking, by the way.
Sorry?
She's still talking, by the way.
Yeah, well,
You're not going to throw her off.
She's on hold, right?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to comment on Perry's thing. I've been listening to the clips all day, and I finally watched the video. You said you hadn't seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Well, I'm a student of military history, and I've watched the
Did you think, now let me ask you this, though. Did you find the video more bizarre than just listening to it? Did it make it more bizarre?
Well, yes, and that's what I was going to comment on.
Yeah, I found the video really just over the top.
Well, I realize this is politically incorrect, but put a Charlie Chaplin mustache on him and turn down the sound, and you've got Adolf Hitler. As far as the performance art goes. Watch the hands and the facial gestures and all that. I can compare that to videos of Hitler's speeches, and it's really uncanny.
Wow. How did you arrive at that?
I was just watching it, and I've seen so many, of Hitler's speeches, and just watching with the hand gestures and looking up at the sky and, the emotional is the word they want to use, I guess. But, look at it from that point of view. And again, it's performance art. I don't mean anything by that statement of, politically or whatever, but...
Why not?
Okay.
Am I playing the death tax?
I'm still cracking up at Sarah. She makes me laugh. Hey, Zach, you're on KLBJ.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello.
I've got a question. What is the going rate now on a Count Dracula voiceover?
I don't know. Good question. And it was done by, Thomas tells me it was done by one of the actors at Esther's Follies.
Oh, well then, that might be pretty cheap. What are they making, $10 an hour?
I don't know. If it's 50 cents an hour, it's too much.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if, I apply this to my own business. That's why I'm interested. I'd like you to maybe have your team give them a call and find out their success rate on this.
Oh, you're thinking about, thinking about the advertising.
The economics, yeah.
Oh man, I tell you, when I used to be in the real world, I don't know what I do not know what the conversion rate on telemarketing is, if that was going to be your point. I have no idea.
Our traffic sucks.
The old days. At one point, the number it used to be like 1.76 or something on direct mail, the conversion rate. But I don't know what it is on telemarketing. I honestly don't know. I worked on a project in school where we had to do that. Just getting the surveys done was brutal. I mean, if you ever wanted to completely lose faith in America, spend a few nights working in telemarketing. Oh, my. This was just for a college project.
Jeff Ward, afternoons on News Radio KLBJ.
The city of Austin says that it's made some progress meeting with the leaders of the Occupocalypse. And I'm not sure what kind of agreements they're going to make. Apparently the problem started when the city put a crackdown on the food tables. Well, actually the problem started before that, so people started getting arrested and started fighting when the food tables were put out at City Hall. Look, you have every right to protest. I have no problem with that. Do it all you want. Megaphones, chants, haikus, whatever you like to do. But don't pretend that there's some technical aspect to all this about bank fees or credit unions or mortgage default swaps. Stop that. You're raising hell, which is fine. Not sure exactly what. But something tells the rest of us that your food tables and your protests were hijacked by somebody else.
Shame on APD! Occupiers must go free! Shame on APD! Occupiers must go free!
Why were people arrested for fighting? If you're together, why are you fighting? So there were 38 arrested over the weekend at one point, or 40, 45, something like that. Well, the city decided to meet with them and make it all work out? Okay. And the guy who's gone viral is your governor for life. He has always been governor and will always be governor as long as he would like. He is currently the governor of Texas. It has now been edited down to 8 minutes and 23 seconds. In less than half a day, there were 150,000 views of the speech. We have it on our website. Is it Rick Perry's famous or infamous Scream speech? Because it did Howard Dean in. Is this bizarre, dazed and confused like performance going to do him in?
Under my plan, the death tax expires before you expire.
Yes. You need to watch it to fully appreciate how weird it is.
And this is such a cool state. I mean, come on, live free or die. I mean, you know, you got to love that, right? I come from a state, you know, where they had this little place called the Alamo, and they declared victory or death. You know, we're kind of into those slogans, man. It's like live free or die, victory or death.
Whoa, man. Hey, dude. Hey, Sam, you're on KLBJ.
Hey, Jeff. I just think, I guess the pressure got to be too much for Rick and his C-plus GPA and animal husbandry brain.
Why not?
Early 70s A&M just couldn't handle the pressure, but it really, to me, it's that life imitating art. If you took that video and you put that bad lip reading Rick Perry video,
yes, I've seen that. That is hilarious.
It is, and it's really. I mean, it shouldn't be a shock to us. I mean, people. I'm a conservative guy. I'm going to vote for the GOP, but the fact that that guy was up in the polls at some point, you knew that was just a very temporary event that would soon be exposed by just the inability to keep quiet. But so I guess it's adios mofo to Rick, and
adios mofo.
Yeah, but did we really think at any point? I mean, I guess there were legitimate questions if he could, handle it on his feet, but I don't think we ever thought that he would end up sounding like he was on Dazed and Confused. This performance, I don't think we could have predicted.
Well, that's the scary part. He's been governor for 37 years.
Yeah.
And yet, as Texans, we're just seeing this guy as he is, and it's actually scary. It's not surprising that he didn't ever debate, or his debates in Texas were so limited. But and I don't understand how you overcome your inability to debate by not going and debating anymore. That doesn't make any. I don't understand it. You've given the public the impression of who you are, and then you're saying, well, now I'm not going to do that anymore. So that's cementing that impression.
Will he be reelected as governor of Texas?
I don't think he's going to try for it. I think he's done.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think he's going to really go back. It's time to move on, find something else. Senator.
Wow, his last moment's going to be this whatever this thing was in New Hampshire?
Well, how many more years is it? 2 more years as governor? I'm sure he'll give us something else to work with. So let's, I think the national public has seen it, and I think Kane's deal too, the smoking, the cigarette smoking guy from the X-Files, and then pops up on his ads, and then this other stuff about the, whatever that the women. He's done too, and it's really just time for the GOP just to pack up and say, all right, we had our circus, now we're done. Let's all get behind this one candidate.
Damn right.
Romney, and then I'll vote for Paul, and then Romney will get the GOP nomination, and hopefully see where it goes from there.
Yeah, notice how Mitt Romney just lay low, man. Stay out. Don't get in the corner. Stay out. Hide. And let them implode.
And my plan is really pretty simple. It does deductions for the mortgage, deduction for charitable. Yep. You keep that in there. And your state and local taxes are in there. You put those on, $12,500 for every dependent that you have. And, just pretty easy math. Subtract it, send it in. It's awesome. Why not?
Wow. Hey, Jeff, you're on KLBJ.
Afternoon, Jeff.
Hello.
Hi. I had a comment about Occupy Austin. I didn't realize there was a protest going down on there. I thought they were trying to recreate a Led Zeppelin album cover. The Houses of the Holy or whatever, where they had all naked people on the side of the cliff or whatever. When I was down there, I thought that's what it was. They were doing a recreation of the album cover. But I think that the way they pick their leader is the person who gets higher up on the steps is in charge. We shouldn't have to have a conference to find them out. Just king of the mountain is kind of the way they pick their leader there. And so if you get your sleeping bag on the top step, you're in charge. There's no disputing that.
So in other words, whoever's awake at the time gets the nod. Well, I don't know what the city is hoping to do. I mean, I guess this is bad publicity all the way around. I don't know if the cops have handled it well. I'm not sure.
Our City Hall! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose City Hall? Our City Hall! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose City Hall? Our City Hall!
Too bad they don't have that City Hall store anymore. Remember that thing? They would sell Austin snow globes. And that thing made, well, the only thing that it sold was Cokes to the city employees. So maybe if they had that thing open still, that would go over pretty well.
Jeff, you are the man. You're asking all the right questions, and nobody's giving you the right answers.
Jeff Ward, afternoons on News Radio KLBJ.
Phone number is 836-0590. That's 836-0590. Toll free 877-590-KLBJ. Your Dallas Cowboys went into last night's game. It was football night in America. They were ranked 7th in total defense. Nope, not so much now. Michael Vick, he torched them, 21-28. Dallas had their face kicked in, 34-7. It felt like it was much worse than that. Hey, Joe, you're on KLBJ.
Thanks for taking my call, Jeff. I was calling about Count Dracula calling us.
Yes.
My question is, I didn't hear anything about this until I turned on your show. But who's their demographic? Because Thomas answered my first question, which they could only call landlines. And then again, who has a landline other than businesses?
Right.
And my grandmother.
Well, yeah. I mean that's another part of this. And well, who answers that call? Even if you have a landline, I mean, you look at caller ID, and then who would you? If that you heard Dracula yucking it up with you, would you stick with that call?
No, I mean,
Right.
well, we get calls like that. Well, not from Dracula, but you get your telemarketers from work, or you're, trying to sell you something, and it's
Right.
just like bing, bam, boom, done. So we get something like that. I mean, less than 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, just to maybe put it on speakerphone, just because you think you might have taken the wrong medication this morning. But other than that, I just don't understand their demographic one, because I don't know anybody that has landlines anymore. I mean, maybe I'm 32 years old, but. You really
now,
don't need a landline.
the thing about it, your grandmother would pick up the phone and probably would listen.
She would, but she'd probably think it's like my grandfather or something that's been dead for like 20 years.
Yeah. I still think it's
I don't know.
stupid.
I
I
was
think
just
it's
wondering the
just
demographic on that one.
I think you've answered your own question.
Hello, voter. This is Count Dracula.
I mean, I just find it so irritating. I mean, that should tell you something about us right there.
Dracula, calling to instruct you to vote this week for Travis County Propositions 1 and 2.
All right, so if the only people that do pick up landlines are old ladies, how are the old ladies going to take this? Are you going to listen? Are you put off? Are you interested? Are you influenced by Dracula?
Hello, voter. This is Count Dracula.
Most importantly, what almost saved the show today, but it didn't quite happen, and that is what everybody knew before has finally been put to science. Penn State University researchers have proven that men have feelings, in fact, more feelings. What they have been able to find is that men are 3 times more likely to be the first ones to say, I love you in a relationship.
Stop lying. Such a liar.
How about that? The Journal of Social Psychology is publishing the research. It shows that men were more likely to fall in love within a few weeks, while most women said it took several months. Now, why is that? Why the difference, ladies? Men were also more inclined to tell their partner they love them much sooner in the relationship. As in, I don't know, 20 minutes? Why the difference? Hey, Deke, you're on KLBJ.
Yeah, it might have been someone like Perry, but there's a couple Aggies last year trying to get a mule in a barn before it started storming, and every time they try to push him in there, it hit his head and his ears on top of the top beam. And so we're a couple of engineering graduates here from A&M. We all figured it out, so they got 4 jacks out of their car and their pickup and put them under each corner, jacking it up. And this guy from UT came by and said, "What are you boys doing?" He said, "Well, we can't get this mule in. He hits his head and ears every time, so we're raising the barn up." And he said, "Well, you dummies, all you had to do is dig a trench." And he says, "No," he said, "it's not his legs that are too tall, it's his ears."
Burton, you're on KLBJ.
Why not?
Hey, Jeff, I was really disappointed. I was hoping it was Lee Leffingwell that was doing the Count Chocula voiceovers for us, man. The other thing is, Rick Perry just needs to do us all a favor, go Howard Dean, holler, "Arr!" and move his ass back to Austin.
Why not?
Well, is this kind of a stoner's version of Howard Dean, though?
I don't know what it is, but he's lost it all, man, and he's making us look terrible in the process. He just needs to bail any way he can figure out how and move back to the burnt mansion that Sarah was talking about or back to Westlake.
And kill some wild animals, though.
Well, he'll take out coyotes for us. That could be his new thing, game warden.
Man, I think the first analysis of this of the day was a lady said she couldn't get dazed and confused out of her head.
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man. It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm. I tell people so far out in the country that everybody had their own tomcat. Some of you are not going to get that, but this little school I grew up in, mayor was called Paint Creek.
Yeah.
It was very small. As a matter of fact, the motto of the school was, no dream too tall for a school so small. Yeah. And by the way, I graduated in the top 10.